Hello everyone, I'm sure that you have heard of this gambit, which is called the Englund Gambit, but good news, you don't need to hear about it anywhere else anymore, because we're going to cover it all: traps, theory, games, and how to respond to it, and got a very good advantage as white. But we will try to make it work as black. First, let's go to trap stuff. After e5, d takes e5, we go 96, wanted our pawn back. It works especially if white is greedy. So knight f3, I don't want to give the pawn back. I wanted my pawn back, and now there's queen d5 and bishop f4. If bishop f4, we will create this trick check. Queen b4 check, and now the bishop is under fire. So queen d2 seems interesting, and it's played actually more than 200k times. And after this move, you can imagine that this is completely losing. Like queen takes, and after queen c3, bishop b4. It happens too many times. I mean, more than 200k times. This exact position list, it's about more than 150k times. So after bishop b4, the queen will be gone, and you will be winning. The best move is bishop d2, but again after queen b2. Now bishop c3 played more than 600 times, and after bishop c3 actually you're losing because of bishop b4. And after bishop b4, the bishop is under fire, and if bishop takes, then knight c2 cannot be avoided, and black is completely winning. So what's the right approach to it? We will discuss later after queen takes b2. So let's get back. After queen e7, there's this greedy move, queen d5. But again, we go f6, we sack a pawn. And after e takes f6, knight takes f6. Now in this position, the queen's under fire. And there's g6, bishop g7 castling, d5 or d6, bishop g4, rook a to e8. You have the e file, the f file, etc., etc. But it's a game. It's a trap. It's good to try it once or twice. It will be nice, but nothing more. So let's now go to the theory section. In this section, we will try our best to make it practically working as black. So d4, e5, d takes. Now, we will not start with 96, we will go with d6 in order to give our opponent more chance, or two chances, to take or to accept this gambit. So e takes d6 is played by far the most time, more than 5 million times. After e takes d6, we take back with the bishop, and now our bishop is developed. The other bishop will be developing very soon. And now after knight f3, the most played move almost, knight c6 and now knight c3. Why knight c3 and knight f3 are the most development move in this position, or played move in this position? Because we have this rule like improve your knights before your bishops, and it's actually easy move to make. I mean, knight c3 and knight f3. So after knight c3, we go bishop g4, and now two moves, either e3 or bishop g5 first. If e3, probably most played move, more than 100k times, we go simply queen e7. Why e7, not d7? Because we want to castle long, and we want our rook to face this queen. So after queen e7, there are two moves. The most played move, more than 85k times, which is bishop e2, and there's this bishop b5. Let's get rid of this idea of bishop e2. It's not a very good one. We actually castling, and we have a huge threat of bishop takes h2, and then the queen will be taken. So most played move again is bishop d2, more than 25k times castling played. So imagine that, and very strong players actually doing this. So bishop d2 and simply knight f6. We improve, and after castling, we go this h5. And our ideas are knight e5, get rid of this knight. Ideas like queen e5, g5, h4, etc., etc. For example, now in this position, if h3, I will take bishop takes f3, and after bishop takes f3, queen e5. In order to stop this annoying or maybe winning check, you need to go g3, but after g3, there's this h4, and this is one of the points why h5 is played. So let's get back a bit. There is another idea, which is after h5, knight d4, trying to exchange some pieces. But after knight d4, knight takes d4 is played. E takes d4 has to be played, because after bishop takes d4, h takes d4, now h2 pawn is under fire, and you cannot get your piece back. That's why e takes d4 must be played. And now again, bishop takes h2 is a very strong move. And after king h2, rook takes d4. The idea is, I'm threatening to make use of this pen. Queen d6 is coming, and rook h to d8 is coming. So king g1 is probably in order to avoid queen d6 check, and the bishop will be taken next. Queen d7, bishop b5, attacking the queen, simply queen d6, and after queen e1, rook takes d2. Black is up a pawn and have a much great position according to activity. Probably rook d8 is coming, c6, and play normal chess. You are up a pawn, and this rook is going to capture some pawns as well. So this is if he played passively. And here it's a very psychological important note. Why this is the most played move? I mean, it's a very good question to be asked. Because white says, okay, I am white. I know that I lack development, but I am a pawn up. So if I just play simple chess, improve and get castled, and get rid of the development issues, bishop d2, somewhere rook d1, and exchange pieces, I am up a pawn. I don't need to think. I don't need to play active chess. That's why this is the most played move. Anyhow, there's this idea of bishop b5, and actually this is a very interesting idea. The point of bishop b5, if you get castled or if you castle long, then bishop takes e6 is strong, and after that queen e2, the queen's coming to a6, and it's very dangerous for this king as well. And still, I did not castle short. So after bishop d2, or let's say king b7, stopping queen a6 ideas, there's this bishop d2 and castling long, and white is completely fine, or maybe completely winning. I'm not sure. But white is much better in this position. That's why after bishop b5, we play the tricky move. It's kind of active waiting one. It's knight f6. Why knight f6 is a strong move? Because now in this position, you need to decide where to go. If you castle short, then I will consider castling long, activating this threat. And if bishop takes c6 first, I take back, and now queen e2. Now queen e2, you want to castle long, right? I will castle short, because I have now the b file. If you castle long, my bishop here is annoying, this pin is annoying, ideas like knight d7, knight e5, queen f6, attacking here on f3 is very annoying. Sometimes ideas like rook e6, rook h6, or g6 also annoying. So black is completely, practically fine. White is not comfortable in this position. So this is actually for this e3. But wait a second, is bishop g5 make any difference? No, because I simply go f6, and after bishop h4, I pretend that I see nothing, and queen e7. And after e3, I castle long, and now ideas like, discoveries are coming. So bishop d3 makes sense in order to stop this these discoveries. And now simply knight e5, making use of this pin and attack the bishop one more time. So for example, queen e2, and now bishop b4. You are pinned here, you are pinned here, and if castling long, then bishop c3, and your king side, your queen king side is weakened. And if you go short castling, again, knight f3 or bishop f3, both are very strong, and this king will be weakened again, and practically, white cannot be comfortable again. So that's why this idea of knight f3 and knight c3 is completely fine for white, or for black, sorry. And this is actually the most played moves. A question, what if after d6 he did not accept the what's so-called gambit and played something like knight f3, I go knight f6. And now if taking, then it's just a chance position, probably what's going to be happening. And now e takes d6 played more than almost 2 million times. The other one is 300k, which is bishop f4. And if bishop f4 in this position, we go simply bishop g4. And after e takes d6, we go queen f6. Attacking the bishop, attacking on b2. Most played move or most logical move here is queen c1, protecting these two guys. But now I can take with the bishop, and after bishop takes, queen takes d6. Again, practically I have a full compensation. My development is by far ahead, and castling long, knight f6, h5, h4, h3, rook h2, is coming, and black is completely fine and still in the game. And white has to be very cautious in this position in order not to lose on the spot. So this is actually the theory section. Now let's see some games very quickly. It's actually games played only chess. And you can imagine that white rated almost 2600. d4, e5, take knight c6. Okay, knight c6 first, queen 7. This is actually the trap stuff. And it happened. I mean, almost 2600, you know. Queen b2, queen c3, bishop b4. Fall to this. Okay, this is actually not even a rapid game. This is a blitz game. So I mean, not even I wanted to say it's not a bullet game. It's a blitz game, and white is just lost in this fashion. Can you imagine that? And went on to lose the game. So because I mean, he gave up the queen. It's not necessary, but I mean, too many stuff up. Probably 2 rooks up. So this is actually the reason why I'm showing you this. And this is another game. White is Federation Master. Almost 3,000 rating. You know, this is crazy. d4, e5, take d5. I mean, d6 is recommended, probably mouse slip. Anyhow, take knight f6, e3, bishop e2, castling, queen e7, and castling long, knight c3, h5. As we have said, queen e1, knight e5, and after rook d1, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3. And now in this position, knight fg4 is played. Simpler was winning, and actually I'll stop here because the reason of showing you these games is to convince you it happens. Actually it happens. It's not something just on paper. So now simply knight takes f3, and after g takes f3, the winning move was knight g4, and knight g4 threatening queen h4, and if f takes, I do believe this is winning, but simply h takes. Bishop takes h2 is coming, rook takes h2 is coming, queen h4 is coming, everything is coming, and this position is completely winning for black. The last game that we will see before we go to the refutation of this gambit, kind of refutation, d4, e5, e takes d6, knight f3, bishop g4. I do believe knight c6 is better, but anyway, bishop f4, knight c6, e takes d6, queen f6. And after queen f6, attacking both guys here, so bishop d2 is played. Bishop takes simply, and after knight c3, queen e7, and it's just a transposition, as you can imagine, like bishop e2, and it is a transposition, h5, a3, h4. You can go this idea of h4, you can go knight e5, you can go king d8, you can go many stuff. Bishop takes, queen e5, threatening this very annoying check, and after knight g4, king h1, it started to defend some ideas like f4, but went back, and g5, attacking, bishop c5, threatening rook d2, followed by bishop e3, and after king h1, queen d7, g4 is coming, very strong attack. Rook d1, g4, bishop under fire, takes, knight e4, and bishop b6 is played. After bishop c3, simply queen h8, h3 to be coming, h5 will be open, this rook is doing nothing, and actually this is a rapid game, and 2100 rated player is playing. And after bishop takes g4, queen g4, knight f6 attacking the queen, simply queen g3, normal check, rook d7, bishop h8, but h3 is actually killing. And after that, rook g1 is played, simply f5, the rook will be coming to the game, queen e1, h takes g2, rook takes g2, check, and bishop takes e3, check, and king f1, then rook h1, checkmate, and queen takes e3 is the only move, so it's completely winning for black, and white resigned the game. This is actually just to convince you it happens. It's worth a try. It's worth to try to do that. And actually, it's a nice way to have fun playing chess. A way of very solid drawish openings that we all learn here and there. So the last part of our video is to talk about the refutation or how to reply to this, because actually it's played too many times. I mean, this gambit is not. I mean, it's the 4th played move. You know, it's played 89 million times. You know, so e5 is played move, and after e5, we simply take. And there are 2 ways: f knight f3 or f knight c6, then we go knight f3, and if queen e7, we go bishop f4. Wait a second, is that a bad move? No. This is actually the refutation. Why? Because I want you to check. I want you to move your queen as much times as possible. I go bishop d2, and after queen takes b2, and not bishop c3 because of bishop b4. Now the advantageous move is knight c3. And after knight c3, say bishop b4 for example, now rook b1 attacking the queen, queen a3, rook b3 attacking the queen, protecting the knight, queen a5, and simply I go e4. Finishing the development, I'll go bishop b5 next, castling, and position is super risky for black. After knight g7, bishop b5, bishop c3 doesn't work because the rook is protecting, it's not only the knight. And after bishop b5, I'll simply castling, this queen is not happy at all. Ideas like a3 is coming, after bishop c3, probably the queen will be trapped. And this is actually from technical point of view, from chess point of view, but from psychological point of view, the gambit player hopes that you don't know the line or you don't know the refutation, and will base his ideas based on you being not ignorant, but at least not knowing the ideas. So this is actually f queen e7. You might be asking, what if d6 then? I'll go knight f3, and after knight c6, this is actually the computer move, and it's played actually, it's not a secret, it's bishop g5. Why bishop g5 is a very strong move? Because if you go bishop e7, then I go bishop e7, queen e7, e d6. Now if queen d6, then we exchange queens for nothing, and if c d6, then the d file is closed to actually, and the c file is kind of half open. So the attacking ideas are not that strong. I mean, remember, after bishop d6, we based our idea of bishop g4, bishop takes queen e5, threatening mates, but now there's nothing. So you cannot go bishop e7. Okay, how about knight g7 doesn't need any mention, because again, e d6, no bishop d6, and you actually as black a pawn down and black development, which is very bad. So there are two ideas after either f6 or queen d7. If queen d7, again I can take e takes d6, because now your bishop cannot improve. And after bishop d6, knight c3, actually again black lacks development, h6, bishop h4, knight g7, e3, and after bishop e2, castling white is completely fine, and we can say completely winning, because then bishop g3 to be coming, and there are no attacking chances in the near future for black. So the last move that probably will be played, and the most played move here in this position, is f6. But now simply, I take e takes f6, and after knight takes f6, I will go simply e3. This is actually the worst or the lesser evil, as they said, for black. If you're black, you can choose this as your move order. So bishop e7 to be coming, castling, you have the f file. You have some practical chances to keep the game on, but for sure black will be suffering, because any endings will be bad for him. And after, for example, bishop e7, yeah, you could go bishop c4, you're not allowed to be castling, and then castling, knight bd2, queen e2, rook d1, etc, etc, you're completely fine. Maybe you can go also bishop e2, c4, knight c3, in the future knight d5 with rook c1 ideas, queen c2, rook fd1, etc, etc. Well, white is completely fine, and up a pawn. Black is trying to survive in this position. Actually, this is all. This is the refutation. I hope you find it useful. If you want to learn more about chess openings, chess stuff, you will find some videos here. If you would like to see something in the future, please subscribe, like, share, and see you soon.